is an explosion of happiness.
These kids are so excited because they are receiving toys for the very first time.
Who doesn't want a gift? Who doesn't want a present?
It shows them that out there are people who really care about you.
You've got an army of volunteers that pack the boxes.
Our volunteers for Operation Christmas Child, I believe, are the lifeline of this project.
To think that we can be part of something that's going to reach over 10 million kids this year, that's exciting.
When the box ends into the hands of a child, that is not the end.
The big impact at the end of the day is lives that are changed. It's my prayer that God will use you to tell others about His Son, Jesus Christ.
Operation Christmas Child is creating a ripple that's going around the globe.
So it started with a box, and it's ending with communities and countries being changed.
You know, these boxes are like a candle. It's a little bit of light that you take into a dark part of the world, and it makes a difference.
Thank you. Very good.
We want the children of the world to know that there is a God. He loves them.
Man, how good was that? That was amazing. Bill Berger has been a volunteer for Operation Christmas Child since 2008, a ministry that's distributed 135 million Christmas gift boxes to kids in over 150 countries, and he's one of Samaritan Purse's coordinators for the Great Lakes region. He's seen firsthand the difference that these boxes make in the lives of kids as well on a trip to Uganda. But Bill, that was just so inspiring,
yes.
And the difference that can be made when we just do a little bit, like put some of these boxes together. Right now, you're at the end of the campaign, almost a collection point. So tell us a little bit about Operation Christmas Child.
Well, Operation Christmas Child wants to bring gifts to children who have gone through war, poverty, disease, and natural disasters. Operation Christmas Child brings these gifts in the millions, actually, and a child receives these gifts and they feel the warmth that somebody is caring about them in their situation. And then we draw a parallel to that to show them that God is also caring about them too, and not just other human beings.
And these gifts are collected by the body of Christ in parts all over the world, and then distributed by the body of Christ in other parts of the world. It's all done through the local church.
Yes, it is done through the local churches, and we have 18 drop-off locations within the Michiana area, which extends all the way from the Illinois line to Elkhart and up to Niles, Michigan, and down to North Judson. And it's just wonderful that so many people participate. We've actually have about 500,000 volunteers to get these boxes collected, shipped, and distributed to the kids.
Okay, hand me the box because I want to know what's in it. It looks like it's loaded with so many goodies. Okay, so what do you put in the box and why in particular?
Okay, first of all, I like to get the hygiene items in there first.
Okay.
We're talking about
So here we go.
toothbrush, toothpaste, there's some soap in the box.
I'll be Vanna White for you today, okay?
All right.
And then some other things in here.
Yes, one thing, the other things that are real important are, well, of course, cloths, washcloth, but also pencils and pens and this kind of thing. Color, I mean, school supplies are so important because in many countries, the kids cannot go to school unless they have paper and
have to bring their own materials.
Yes,
And I'm sure you're discovering that kids are kids around the world. They get excited about school supplies. They get excited about getting toys and
the stuff that we would never get excited about.
So talk about the impact on kids. I mean, when they open this box, I can only imagine when the top of this box is lifted up and they open this box.
Yeah, for many of them, it's the first gift they've ever received. So you hear a lot of screaming and say, wow, wow, and finally have something of their own. Many of these children happen to live in orphanages, and they're sharing their washcloth, their toothbrush, their everything with other people. And they could finally say, you know, this is something that's mine. And it just gives them such a great feeling that somebody cares about them.
And we see that the Greatest Journey, there's a discipleship program that kind of goes along with this as well.
Yes. When the box is handed to the child, we put in this greatest gift right on top.
Okay.
And this is in place of you putting a Bible in there. You wouldn't, first of all, you wouldn't know what language to put that Bible in.
Right.
And they'd just be lost in it. This greatest gift is sort of like a comic book. It's very colorful.
Yep,
Lots
illustrated,
of
beautiful.
illustrated, short little stories, but it's all about what Christ did for us on the cross and what he's doing with us, with our lives today. Then they are invited afterwards to come back for a 12-week discipleship course on the greatest journey. These are taught by local teachers which have been trained by Samaritan's Purse. And there again, we're talking about very colorful pages, interesting stories from the Bible. And when they go through this in 12 weeks, then they get a Bible of their own, in their own language. By the way, both of these publications are done in 80 different languages.
Fantastic.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, that really is.
And I have samples here to show you that, you know, try to read that.
Yeah, I'll pass.
Okay.
I can't even guess what this is. But it seems like maybe an African language.
Name some of the countries that
Name
you
some
send
of the countries. We go all over Asia and Africa. I was in Uganda.
What was that like?
It was great. It was great. I had no idea what Uganda was like before I got there. I was very fortunate that they spoke English there proficiently because they had been a colony of
Commonwealth.
Yes, for a long time. And so it was easy to communicate with the kids.
Yeah.
But poverty, you just wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
I was in the capital city, and we went out to the suburbs because so many people had moved in from the countryside, and they're just living
Looking
in
for
squalor.
work, but living in squalor.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
For someone watching that says, well, you know, you're talking about poverty, you're talking about kids that are in civil wars or refugees, living in some tough situations. Why toys? Isn't there something more important that we can do?
This is it right here, the gospel. That gives them hope for the future.
Yeah. So the toys are basically, in the shoebox, is basically a bridge builder for the gospel.
Exactly. They can feel the same thing going between human beings, you know, and also, you know, God's love coming through that box. And that's what's so important.
Not to mention the impact on parents as well. When their children are happy, I'm a mom. When my child was happy as a child, I was happy.
Life is better.
That's right. And then it opens the door, is a bridge for the gospel to be presented to the entire family. So talk about the impact, or share a story with us. I'm sure you have a zillion.
Yes, we do. One of my favorite stories is how in the processing, before these boxes are shipped over, we go through and look through them to make sure there's no liquids in it which could spoil the contents of the box if it got broken, no chocolate, it might melt from the heat, and no war toys, anything to do with war toys. And at one of these processing centers, they came upon a box where it was practically filled with just socks. And they decided, well, this kid's going to be really disappointed if all he gets is socks and he sees all these other people getting toys and other
crayons
and
school supplies. Yeah.
And so they checked with the supervisor, and the rule is that you leave the integrity of the box the way it is. And the reason for that is that we feel that God is guiding these people to fill these boxes, because prayer is in that box too. It's been prayed over many, many times by the time it gets to the person. And it happened that that box went to a child who had burned both of his feet and could not walk around except if he had socks on because of the dusty roads and everything else. So he needed lots of pairs of socks, not just one or two. And it was the perfect thing that he needed. And we've run into hundreds of different cases where exactly the right thing was in the right box. Only God could orchestrate that.
That's powerful. Now, you mentioned that you're at the collection point now, I think coming up in the next week or 10 days or so. All the boxes are being collected, then they're going to be sent out overseas. And I've been to some of these places with Feed the Hungry where in the middle of nowhere, here comes his donkey or donkey cart loaded down with Samaritan's Purse Operation Christmas Child boxes. So have we missed the boat this year, or do we not, you know, how can people get involved?
You're just in time. This is the last week, starting today until next Monday. Monday is when the trucks are all loaded and they go to the processing centers. So you can find a drop-off location by going on to Samaritan's Purse .org/OCC, which stands for Operation Christmas Child, and look under locator for the
so put in your zip code or something, and it'll tell you where you can go.
It'll tell you where you can go and the hours that they're open and everything else.
Fantastic.
So it's wonderful.
A jump rope. I mean, I love it.
It's a gift that keeps on giving there.
I love jumping rope.
And you notice they're all small things that need to fit in that relatively small
box. You name it. It's obviously for a little girl.
Yes, obviously.
Thanks so much for joining us, Bill.
Yeah, thank you so much, Bill Berger, our guest here today. And to connect with Bill, to connect with Samaritan's Purse, to become a part of Operation Christmas Child, as Bill said, it's not too late. Go to SamaritansPurse.org/OCC, or go to our website, harvest-tv.com. We'll send you over there with an easy link. Put in your zip code, find out where you can go to participate and bless the life of a child. Not just now, not just for this Christmas or this year, but for eternity, because of the discipleship materials that are included as well. That's the big picture. Coming up later, your prayer requests, but up next, Brian Bush joins us with the LeSEA Tours update. We want you to stay with us. We'll be right back. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.